Right, so you're not going to recognise it, but this is my BMW E36 that I purchased 2 years ago. And I said back then I was going to do a restoration series on it that I never actually got around to doing because of cars and cuppers and victory and all that sort of stuff. So what I'm going to do in this video is talk to you about the journey of this car so far, what I've been doing on it, and then I'm going to share with you exactly what I'll be doing to it over the next couple of weeks, including doing all the paintwork myself, fitting out all the interior, doing an engine swap and all that sort of stuff. And I've actually started the paintwork already, which I'll share with you in the next couple of videos. So make sure you check out the rest of this video to see what's going on with the project E36 build. So who remembers my BMW E36? So let's have a little throwback to those that don't know about this car. I bought an E36 with my dad looking to do a full restoration project on it. So I actually come across this E36 when I was going to Sainsbury's doing a food shop, and I come across a E36 that was parked in the back, and I met a guy called Tom, and I said to him, if you ever come around to selling this car, give me a shout. So I gave him my number, and a few months later, about 6 months later, he gave me a call and he said, Talisi, I remember you saying that you wanted this car. Would you be interested in buying it? So how did we actually meet? We met on Sainsbury's.
Well, I was shopping in Sainsbury's and you came over and tapped my window.
Was this back in October,
thought,
maybe
who's
October?
This guy, you know? And,
yeah.
But, you know, it went on from there.
At this point, I spoke with my dad and I said, look, do you fancy doing a project on this car, us both? And we both agreed to buying the car and doing a full restoration project on it. So we met up with Tom, we bought the car, and that is when we decided to do this project ourselves. It was actually 2 years ago, so this was a long time ago, to be fair. The time has absolutely flown by. So we both agreed to doing the project ourselves. So we started to crack on with this car. We started to do a bit of an interior detail, we started doing exterior detail, and we completely transformed the engine bay. So the car in this period was starting to look so much better than it originally did when we bought it off Tom. Now, as well as this, I had to take it into Paddock Motors, which is a local BMW specialist, to get them to have a look around it and to get them to let me know exactly what needed doing to it. So it went in for a bit of a check over to see what needed doing to it. It had this horrible gearbox rattle when you was going at speed, which wasn't ideal. So Mark had a good look over it, inspected a few things, he sorted a few things out on it. There was a fuel issue where there was a leak in a bit of fuel, which wasn't ideal. He sorted the gearbox rattle out, which was actually sort of like a joint of some sort that was completely obliterated. He sorted all that out and got it looking like new again. So he replaced the part for that and sorted out a few other little issues. He said there was a couple of issues with rust, but at this point in time, it wasn't anything worth stressing out too much about. So yeah, it was good to have a good overhaul of the car. Now, after this point, it was like, right, what do I do with this car? Do I do an engine swap with it? I've always liked the idea of putting like a V8 in there or something like that. The actual idea would be to do a B58 swap. That would be the dream engine swap, because the B58, as you would know, is in the BMW M140i along with many BMW cars. But it's one of the best engines for cars out there because it's so bulletproof, it's so tunable, and there's so much that you can do to it. Now, you have to have 4 to 5 grand itself just to chuck at it, and then obviously it's doing all the other parts. You'd almost need to buy a crash damaged 140i and then use all of the running gear off that to put on the E36. So my ideas at the time was like, right, what do we do with the engine bay? What do we do with the engine? Do we do anything with it? But the paintwork was looking really tired. The paintwork was one of the areas that was letting the car down massively. It was almost looking like an old classic car that's just completely destroyed. So I decided to speak to a customer of mine, Charlie, to see if we could do anything with the bodywork. Now, I left it with Charlie up at R&R. We'd done a few bits ourselves, so we started to strip down the car, work out what needed doing to it. We bought some new panels for it. But I think it got to a point where the job was just going to be far too big, and it was going to be far too big for Charlie to do something where it would have been worth his time. So I left it with him for a little while, probably a little bit too long, because I've been so busy with cars and cuppers, I've been so busy with Victory, I sort of forgot about it. So it was left up at R&R, which probably wasn't ideal for Charlie because he was having to get it in and out every day, which wasn't ideal. But in that time, I had Luke there do some of the rust work. So there's a few areas of rust on the car that needed to be sorted out. Like, I can't remember exactly where it needed doing, but it's a couple of the underneath the arches. There was a couple of components under there that I'll chuck up some photos and chuck up some videos of, just so you can see that. But that was all sorted out in the time that it was there. But I spoke to Charlie and it was like, right, this is going to be far too big for the time that he had. So he was sort of like coming away from the idea of doing anything on the car, which is fair enough. And then Felix and Reese both tempted me to say, well, why don't we do the car ourselves? Now, this is where it's got time consuming and this is where it's got a little bit difficult. So me and Felix decided to collect the car from Charlie, and we decided to bring it back to mine and decided to crack on with some bits on it ourselves. Now, obviously as well, 2 years have gone by. Myself and my dad haven't really got around to doing anything on the car at all, which has been mad. The car's just been sat there, but obviously there's no point in it being sat there. So I just, like I said, I had this conversation with Felix and we decided to bring the car back to mine and we decided to crack on with some bits ourselves. And now it's gone from doing a few bits ourselves to doing the complete paintwork on it and doing a full restoration on it ourselves. Now I say ourselves very, very lightly because Reese and Felix are nowhere to be seen at all. They tempted me the idea of doing this, which they know me, I'm a little bit ADHD. If I start getting excited about something, I'll jump on it and do it. Like I said, we collected the car that week, we brought it back, and the idea was start doing some stuff to it ourselves. Now, like I said, I've seen Felix once or twice, I've seen Reese once or twice. I've been cracking on with this car over the last couple of months and been doing a full restoration on it myself. So there's no ourself in it, myself. So where do we start? So I've started to strip down the car, which admittedly Felix was there for. He did actually help me out with stripping some bits down, which was cool. So he done sort of the easy bits, and then I've been doing everything else from then onwards. I've had the rust work done, so you would remember there was a bad rust around the window, which wasn't ideal. So we had to go down to a breaker's yard and get some spare pieces. So we got a spare panel for the windscreen. So I've had all that done in this time. But back then we got a panel from a scrapyard all cut out. So big up Brad at Exmouth Woodbury Car Breakers for that. Managed to get a piece for that. Managed to get some other pieces as well. Needed a driver's side door, because I think the door locks and stuff was sticking and all that sort of stuff, which wasn't ideal. So we got a fresh door. In terms of the work that I've had done over the last couple of months, I've had the rust work done. So like I said, I've had the windscreen surround done. I've had some bits under the arches done that needed doing, and I've had the sills done because the sills needed to be replaced. As well as this, I've also been cracking on with some bits which include the paintwork. So I've decided to actually just crack on and do the paintwork myself. Now I've been teaching myself all of the paintwork. I've got no experience with paintwork whatsoever. Obviously you would know that I've got a detailing business, so I've got experience like protecting and preserving the paint, but paintwork itself I've got no experience whatsoever. So as you can tell from my hands, I've even been cracking on today and been cracking on with doing the car myself, which is actually starting to come out quite well, to be fair. I've had some issues along the way, which hasn't been ideal. Obviously, I've got no experience with bodywork whatsoever, so there's definitely been some challenges, definitely been some things that I've learnt the hard way, put it that way. But the car is starting to come together. So a fair bit of the rust has been done. The paintwork's been done. The only bits I've got left to do is get it all fitted up and try and find out what sort of engine I need to put in this car, try and find an engine that I want to put in the car. I'm trying to get the car ready for a big Germany trip. Now, the E36 idea in the first place come off the back of a Germany trip. I went to Germany with Felix and a couple of mates. I've seen a few E36s there and I thought, these look absolutely awesome. Looks like a car that I'd love to have. And that's obviously what sprung the idea of jumping on Tom when he was in Sainsbury's doing his food shop to see if we could buy that car. So I'm trying to get the car ready for a big Germany trip with Cars and Covers in July. So I've really had to be cracking on over the last couple of months to get it done. Now that is why it's been so ghost on the E36. You wouldn't have been hearing anything about the E36 is because basically what I've done is filmed a load of stuff on this car ready to chuck out over the next couple of weeks and hopefully get it completed in time for this Cars and Covers Germany trip in July. So that was another reason why I couldn't really necessarily get any body shops to do it. I tried to speak to TVC to see if they could do it, and they was like, look, it's probably not worth our time doing it, you might as well just buy a new E36. But because I've done everything to the car at this point, I thought there's no point buying another one. I might as well just crack on with it myself, and I get TVC to do some of the engine work, which I'm hopefully going to do when I find an engine over the next couple of weeks, because that currently is a stage I'm not at. We're currently first week of June. The Nürburgring trip is end of July. So I need to try and crack on and get this car done, ready for that. Otherwise, I've got no car to go to Nürburgring, which is a trip that I've organised. But I've managed to do the paintwork. All I've got left to do is get it fitted and, like I say, do the engine work. So what my plans are over the next couple of videos is to show you what sort of progress that I've been getting up to, show you exactly what I've been doing to the car, show you how the paintwork's looking and how I've done it, and show you all of the mistakes and all of the things that I've come across on the way when doing this car. So we've got a few really good videos coming up. I've filmed as much as I possibly can. I've filmed loads and loads and loads of things. So if you're interested in a bit of a restoration on this car, you can find out exactly what I've been doing to it. Hopefully I would have chucked up a few teasers to show you exactly the result that I've got on the car so far, just to get a bit of an idea on that. But it's starting to make really, really good progress. The car is looking like, well, it's looking completely different to pure. I haven't had a proper look back through some of the befores, but the car is looking completely different. I won't tell you exactly what colour the paintwork is, but it's black, but I won't tell you exactly what colour. You can find out later on in the video to see what colour it is. I haven't gone anything too wild, but I could have, in hindsight, I probably could have painted it a completely different colour, but it is one of them things. I'm quite heart set on this particular colour itself, just because I've got a love for this colour and a love for the certain car that this colour is on. But you can find out a little bit more in some further videos. The next couple of videos will be me actually doing some bits with Felix, where we start cracking on with stripping down the car, because basically I was filming some stuff for TikTok and I thought, you know what, let's get back on it with the YouTube and let's create a series on the E36 on YouTube, and that is exactly what I have done. So the first couple of videos will be me with Felix. He actually got his hands dirty for a second time, and I think that is the only, I've only seen him twice doing this car completely. Bear in mind, it's his idea to do it with me. So we started to strip down some bits on the car to get it ready for paint. And we come across some issues getting it all primed and getting it all painted, which is a complete another story, and you'll see in a further video. But yeah, that'll be the next video, and then you'll see me cracking on with the paintwork myself while I prime it all. I've done some filling, done some priming, done some sanding, done some painting, done some lacquering, and I come across some huge problems across the way, which you'll see in some further videos, but you'll also see how I come across it, or get over that and make the paintwork looking as good as I possibly can. So if you're interested in this sort of stuff, please do make sure you go give it a watch. My heart and soul has gone into filming all this sort of stuff. It's been stressful, it's been expensive. I might as well have just taken it to a body shop with all the time and money that I spent on it, but it is what it is. I'm pretty much 70 to 80% there now. All I've got left to do is get it all fitted up and then look at doing the engine work and getting something to do and doing something on the interior. But hopefully, like I say, you'll see all of the hard work. I'll be cracking on in the background getting the car done, and you'll actually see a complete E36, which will be awesome. So I've been banging on about for 2 years, but we're finally at a point now where we're cracking on. I'm not sure how I'm finding the time to do this. We've got cars and cuppers, we've got Victory, I've got the detail and all that sort of stuff. But any time that I have had free, I have been cracking on. So most importantly, let me know what future videos that you want to see, because obviously I've got a lot of editing to do, so I can edit the videos tailored to exactly how you want to see them. If there's anything that you want to particularly know, let me know and I'll make sure to include that, because obviously I've got loads of footage. Some of the stuff I won't use and some of the stuff I will use. If there's certain things that you want to see, let me know and I'll make sure to include them in the BMW E36 series. But hopefully it's a good series where you can get an insight into how a beginner goes from a ruined car to a painted car and then getting it all fitted and all that sort of stuff. Basically like a B-Tech Talasy Matt Armstrong. So, but nowhere near to that level, unfortunately, because I've got no knowledge or no skills whatsoever on building a car. A bit like Matt, to be fair, but hopefully we can get to that point with some further projects that I decide to do. The next thing after this would be a Range Rover P38 or Range Rover Classic. So hopefully we actually get some people watching this so I can put some money away and start doing a restoration on a Range Rover, which would be awesome. That would be my dream to do, and that'll be something that I'll be saving my pennies to do. But yeah, make sure that you like this video, share it, and do all that stuff that you normally do. And let me know what you want to see on the E36, and I'll make sure to break down the next lot of videos for that. But yeah, let's get this E36 done. Let's get it ready for the Nürburgring, and I'll see you guys and girls in the next one. Bosh.